Hi, everyone. I'm Bob White. Thanks for joining us again for another Dalton Wednesday concert. We have a very special presentation this evening. Uh, Not only a returning Western student, but a returning Kalamazoo native is joining us for a program tonight. I hope you'll join me in welcoming pianist Edward Callahan. Eddie, thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what you're going to be playing on this program and some things related to that. But can you tell us a little bit of your origin story? Tell us about your connections to Kalamazoo and the School of Music at Western.
Yeah, so I was born in Kalamazoo, born and raised there. And it's a great city. Now that I'm living in New York, I really miss that feeling of community and just the love that was there. I started taking lessons when I was 5.
Hmm.
So I had a teacher, Billy Netterwald, was my teacher, and she really pushed me and just got me into the piano and really believed that this was something I could pursue.
Hmm.
So we started, a lot of our recitals were at Western. When I
Hmm.
was 6 years old, 8 years old, we would be at Dalton. And she just really kept pushing me, teaching me the Bach inventions, teaching me the Beethoven sonatas, teaching me all of these things, and I really grew to loving it. And every year we would also attend the Gilmore Keyboard Festival, and I looked forward to that every year. I mean, I was so starstruck, like somebody who would see a basketball player. Like if I see Mitsuko Uchida, I'm
No.
going
Oh,
crazy. I'm
yeah.
just like, oh my God, she's right here. So that was just really important to me. That kept me going. And eventually I ended up going to Western Michigan University.
Hmm.
I was one of the students of the Kalamazoo Promise. So I was actually in the first class to receive it.
Hmm.
So everything worked out perfectly. We had the free dorms, we had everything. So I didn't realize how, blessed I was at the time. But, looking back, I was living the life,
Yeah.
so that's how everything kind of started.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think about the promise a lot. I have an 11-year-old son, and I know the challenges involved in trying to save money for a college education and the prospects of that. Do you feel like when you were a kid, did you have a sense of the scale that the Kalamazoo Promise of what it was offering, of like just how impactful that was going to be?
Well, we were the first class, and I just remember so much celebration. I just
Mm.
remember the news all over the country. I
Hmm.
just remember it being huge.
Yeah.
At the time, I really didn't understand it because I was 16. I didn't know how much college costs. I just didn't really have those talks. I didn't know where I wanted to go. So I really didn't know. But then once I got to school and now that I'm experiencing it, I mean, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. I'm curious to know a little bit more about your early studies. You said you started when you were 5 with Miss Netterwald. Um, what was that like? What was your relationship to music at the very beginning? Do you have other musicians in your family? What other kinds of musical influences did you have at that point?
You know what? At the time, I was the only child, so there was no one, around. So the piano was pretty much, my friend, my little brother, my little sister.
Yeah.
And, so during those times, we had weekly lessons, but my teacher was so hands-on. I mean,
Hmm.
we wouldn't just have like, a piano lesson and then that's it. We would watch videos of other
Hmm.
performers. She had, newsletters of different composers, and she gave me one of those little composer statues every month of,
Oh, wow.
and she get, I mean, we just explored. She taught me about improvising. Every week I had to improvise,
Wow.
about, anything about how I was feeling. So if I had a bad day, at 7 years old, I'm like, I had a bad day, I'm just banging, but it taught me to let my emotions
Hmm.
onto the piano versus, other things. And I think
Wow.
that was really important to learn early on.
Yeah.
So, that was a lot of it. We did a lot of, music history. She taught me a lot about all of the legendary pianists. Like I knew everybody by name. I can
Mhm.
walk down the street and I remember this person won the Chopin competition in 1980, and I remember, like
Yeah.
we did everything. So it was really, really. She was just so far ahead of her time, when it came to teaching and inspiring. We talk, to this day. She'll call me and say, "What are you working on? What's this? What's that?" So
That's great.
yeah, she definitely paved the way and really helped me.
Well, and those relationships with teachers are so foundational. I mean, especially in the study of music, I think that that kind of mentorship is just so priceless. So that's great that you're able to still maintain contact with her. Yeah, let me ask you about another one of your teachers too, someone connected, with our dearly beloved Western Michigan University School of Music, someone who retired not very long ago, Dr. Sylvia Roeder. What were your studies with her like?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. This was my first time in college, and I just remember during the audition process, I was so nervous.
Mm,
But her and Dr. Zagri, they were like, just relax, everything's okay. But once I got into her studio, she was very patient with me. She knew what I needed.
hmm,
It was with her was the first time I ever played a prelude and fugue. It was the first time
mm.
I played a Chopin etude. It was the first time I learned a piano concerto. She just took my mind into places that I'm like, wow, this stuff, like I knew so much, but there was still so much I didn't know.
Yeah.
And she just really exposed a lot of that to me from the beginning, from the first semester,
Mhm.
and she was really tough on me. And she, would be really honest with me, which I needed,
Yeah.
because everybody would just say, "Oh, you're great, you're great." She's like, "Eddie, you need to get this together. You need to
Yeah.
practice. You need to do this." And I really just appreciated that. So she really kept me, focused
Yeah.
and really changed my life. The Mozart concerto that she taught me, Mitsuko Uchida actually signed that concerto.
Your
And
score of it?
yeah, and I have a picture with my first piano teacher in the background, smiling,
Wow.
looking. So it's just little things like that that really come full circle.
Hmm.
And it's just like, how everybody played such a major role in my development.
That's fantastic. If I can dig in a little bit more on that, I'd like to ask you about that notion of you talked about her honesty with you and how it, the study of music, especially classical music, is very exacting. The standards are high, and there's a lot of I think especially in this day and age, there's a lot of friction there between the idea of allowing a student to grow and still being honest with them about what needs to be addressed in a way that's not, abusive or like, demoralizing for them. How would you describe her ability to get those points across to without it making you feel bad about yourself or something like that, you know?
The one thing that she did was, as busy as she was, because she was the piano chair.
Hmm.
So she was extremely busy. She had her own performances. She had her own, but she always made herself available. So if
Mm.
there was any time that I needed her, if I needed to come in an extra, lesson that week, if I needed to do anything, she would always make herself available. She would.
Okay.
I have my Bach. Let me see. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I have my Bach Prelude and Fugue, and I actually I tried to get it, get it together for this performance.
Hmm.
But she wrote so many notes and
Oh, wow.
so many details that when I was trying to bring it back, I remembered I was having certain, issues, and then I would look and I would say, "Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is," and it's just like
Yeah,
she really put so much time into everything that we did, like 10
that's
years
great.
later, 10 years plus I can still look at the score and
Hmm.
she's still there saying, okay, do this, do that. And I'm like, okay, got it, got it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that, that demonstration of how much they're willing to invest in you, that goes a long way towards earning a student's trust that, you're not saying things just to be mean or saying things just to say something. You're actually you're invested in the result, and you're invested in the follow through that the student is going to make. That's really
Right,
cool. That's a
right.
great anecdote. So let's segue now into the program that's going to be presented here. And you mentioned from the Well Tempered Clavier Book 2, Prelude and Fugue in D minor. This obviously is a piece with a deep connection to your time here.
Yes.
What do you think? The Well Tempered Clavier is obviously a pretty big omnibus of pieces. What is it about this particular D minor Prelude and Fugue that speaks to you?
Well, one thing of it was being my very first prelude and
Hmm.
fugue. So it just really, it took the most time to learn. It took the most time to just understand, Bach. Like I did a lot of his inventions, when I was
Mm.
younger, and the symphonias and the prelude and fugettas, but I've never, really did the prelude and fugues.
Hmm.
So this one was just really cool. And I've always been infatuated with the minor keys,
Hmm.
which is why I had my debut album called The Minor Keys,
The
that
minor
was
keys,
actually my
yeah.
title. So that was just really cool. And the fugue, just the way that it separates, from the
Hmm.
prelude being a little fast and the fugue just kind of slows down and you just hear all of these voices. And,
Hmm.
as you begin to study and, take chorale and all these things, it just kind of all pieces together.
Yeah,
So I had to play that. I just, I tried my best to get it together and I just had to do it.
yeah. And it's such foundational music too. I mean, it's like every little piece of the language that any composer has used from then on, it finds its way in there somehow.
Yes. And I
Yeah,
mean, it just takes the fingering that is needed and just the precision and the clarity. It's Bach is one of the hardest for me to play, because you have to be so clear with
yeah.
everything. So I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, and you pianists are lucky too. I mean, I'm a trumpet player, so our repertoire, we don't have too many of the big guns who've written pieces for us. But Bach is, the grandfather of so much that it's pretty amazing to be able to contend with that repertoire. You know, you mentioned your album a moment ago, The Minor Keys, and another work from that album that we're going to hear, the Schubert Sonata in A minor, 784. Tell us about your connection to that one. How does that hit you differently than the Bach? What's expressively unique about the Schubert?
Well, during this time, actually, because I moved from Kalamazoo to New York and
Hmm.
I started studying at a school here in Nyack College. And my mentor, his name is Damian Sneed, he actually, said, I think you should do the Schubert Sonata.
Hmm.
And I had never played a Schubert Sonata before. So,
Yeah.
I've listened to them. And this was Schubert Sonata where he discovered he had syphilis. And so he was, you can just hear all of these moods and all of these changes.
Hmm.
There was just a lot going on during that time. And during those times, the 1820s, like that's a death sentence, if you have
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that. So you can just kind of hear just his emotion, and you can just kind of feel what's going on. And during that time, after me being out of school so long, going back to finish, being in New York with, all of my friends who are just, come from Curtis and come from here and there. And,
mm,
I'm just feeling like, okay, do I have it? Can I do this? I just had all these emotions
mm,
and I just kind of, could feel a little bit of that, when I'm
yeah,
playing this. I was able to just release a lot and I just had to put it on my album. I mean, I
yeah.
really loved it. And I actually saw Mitsuko Uchida play this at Carnegie Hall.
Hmm.
And I saw her backstage and said, "Hey, I'm working on this one also." And she's like, "Oh, great."
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
it really meant a lot to me. And yeah, Schubert's definitely becoming one of my favorites.
It's so great. I mean, he wrote so many songs in his short life, the materials for which are super simple most of the time, but expressively they go way beyond that. And then in these piano sonatas, it's sort of like the flip side of that. Like you're getting an inside look into all the complexity behind those simple materials, you know? They're like novels or something. They really are amazing.
Yes, there's so many different moments, even in each movement. There are so many different, sections of light, and then you hear a little darkness, and you hear a little, sadness. Every other bar, like there's just some discovery,
Hmm.
when I'm playing it. So it really was, just amazing to play, to record, to
Hmm.
learn. So, I think you guys will enjoy it.
Now, you're also playing some pieces on this program in collaboration with a flutist that you've worked with in New York, Deshaun Gordon King. Uh, Works by Valerie Coleman, among others. Valerie, a flutist and a member of the Imani Winds, and also a very prominent and rising Black American composer. Can you tell us a little bit about the arriving at these pieces that you're collaborating with Deshaun on and Valerie Coleman's music and how it informs your project at this moment when music by Black composers is there's just now finally some long overdue attention to these aspects of the repertoire that have been sort of neglected and ignored.
Yes. So, Deshaun, we've been wanting to work together for a long time. I mean, it's been to the point he sent me music
Hmm.
and I've learned it, and we just never we just never made it happen.
Right.
And it's been like this, a few times, and we just our schedules and things like that. So once the pandemic hit, we pretty much were free. Our schedules were available. So we did a concert of all African American composers.
Hmm.
We did some stuff by William Grant Still. We did Summerland. There were a few other pieces, um, and I just really enjoyed, that collaboration. And I thought it was really special with two, Black classical artists playing all Black classical composers.
Absolutely.
Um, so we started, yeah. So the Wish Sonatine was is really tough. It was a really tough piece. But this was something that I interpreted, during these times, just to wish and to hope for things to be better, for us to keep striving.
Hmm.
The original text was, talking more about the passage, with slaves coming over from Africa
Hmm.
to the US. So, I mean, when you hear it, you just hear, all of these sounds of the ships, and, you hear the water, and you hear all of these things. But, as we're kind of facing these injustices, the brutality, the pandemic, the craziness with the elections,
Hmm.
we can feel, and I think we're all able to feel that, and I think that is what's so powerful this year. Even with the Black Lives Matter here in New York City, you would see maybe 90% of white people were marching and protesting.
Mm.
It wasn't this time, it wasn't just Black people protesting and being angry, but it was, such a diverse group of people who kind of understood why we were saying that. That doesn't mean that
Hmm.
all lives don't matter, but we were talking about just the injustices that we face.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah.
so, I just really wanted to put that piece on the program, and I wanted to end it like that,
Hmm.
because I just think we're at a time in our lives where things were pretty rocky and rough, but we kind of see a light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to see things are, people are being held accountable for their actions, and things are just kind of are getting better. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's how I wanted to end it.
Yeah. Well, if I can, to sort of, wrap things up, it's been a great talk. I really appreciate you joining me. I'd be curious to know, let's say, 5, 10 years down the road, if you were to look at the WMU School of Music and see, yes, this place is really doing it right, what sort of changes, what sort of signals would indicate to you as a black musician that this is a place where young African American musicians can learn and be comfortable, that they're in a place that accepts them, is going to nurture them, and lets them flourish the way they need to?
That's a really good question. I think, most of the times, just from me speaking, we honestly just want to be treated equal. We don't want any extra bells and whistles. We don't want, you don't have to put all of these things up, but and a lot of my experiences, you know, I had to work a little harder than others.
Mm.
Um, Even when I was, one of the top pianists in my school or in my studio, I still, had to fight a little harder to be taken serious as a piano performance major. I had to, just do so many different things
Hmm.
that I just felt weren't really fair,
Hmm.
so I think, just being treated equally, of course, you know, having the discipline and of course, being tough on us, that's something that we can handle. Um, but just also, being encouraging and letting us know this is something that we can do. There is a place for African Americans in the classical music community,
Hmm.
in the industry. That was another reason why I put my album out, because this was just something I did by myself.
Mm.
And when it reached number one, it hit the charts, it hit the Billboard charts, it did all these things. And it just let me know that, I got so many messages from people all over, young pianists saying, wow, you're inspiring me. This is great. I've never seen this, and that's just what I wanted to do. I just wanted to represent other young Black pianists, just let them know that this is something that you can do, because I've been told countless times, you're never going to do this. You're never going to do that. You need to
Mm.
just give up. You need to just play in church. You need to just play jazz. You need to just, I mean, I heard it all,
Wow.
so I just wanted to continue to keep fighting,
Mhm.
because I know there's just so many people that are cheering me on. I mean, I have so many people that just message me, and just give me so many encouraging words. So I have to keep going, for Kalamazoo, and just for all of us, just to let you know that you can do it.
Yeah. Well, as someone who teaches at the WMU School of Music, I think your story is inspiring. You yourself are inspiring. Congratulations on all of this success, and I hope it continues to just keep rising meteorically in the way it has. And for the people listening, I'm certain that nobody watching this needs it proven to them that a black musician is capable of being taken seriously in classical music. If those people are watching, here's your proof. But for more than that, I want everybody tuning in to just enjoy this program and celebrate what you've brought to this, and the wonderful reflection you provide to Kalamazoo, WMU, and your own efforts and your own successes too. So,
Thank you.
Eddie, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I also wanted to say a big shout out to Dr. Montgomery for the B&B. I was in the marching band. I played drums,
Oh,
and that was
fantastic.
another, yeah, that was another aspect that really pushed me, because it's tough being in college marching band. It was
Yeah.
a lot of discipline, a lot of
Mhm.
hours. So I was doing that and piano, and it was really tough, and the gospel choir, and
Wow.
so I
Yeah.
just wanted to shout out Dr. Montgomery. He was really, really he believed in me a lot, and when Dr. Casey Spring,
Hmm.
when he made me one of the section leaders, that really meant a lot to me. So I just really enjoyed. I really loved Western. I really, may have to come back for my doctoral or something. I just have to come back because I really miss Dr. Sims and, I mean, everybody, the late Dr. Zagri,
Yeah.
Professor Julie Evans. I don't know if she's still there
Oh,
with
she
her.
still is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I mean, everybody. I don't want to miss names, but
That's
I
great.
really, I really enjoyed it, and I miss those practice rooms. I miss just
Hmm.
walking down those halls, going up to the library, and it really changed my life. So thank you all just for continuing to just show love and continue to support. And if you need me, I'm here. Send me a message,
That's
Facebook,
awesome.
whatever, and I'm here.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Eddie. We appreciate it. And
Thank
everybody, enjoy the program.
Hello, live from New York. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the virtual concert. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I wanted you to see the Empire State Building, but you can't see it. But I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. We're going to start off with a piece I did with a flutist called Lift Every Voice and Sing by James Weldon Johnson. And then I'm going to move into Bach Prelude and Fugue in D minor, which is actually something that Dr. Roderick taught me at Western. So I thought that would be really cool to start the program off with that. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to move forward from there. So thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. So next, I'm going to play the Schubert Sonata in A minor, which is on my debut album, The Minor Keys. So this is a really special sonata to me, and as you can see, I'm in Times Square. It's not like it's usually is, but there are still people walking around. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy it. This one is pretty long. It's close to 30 minutes, so buckle up and enjoy the ride. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the concert live from New York. And the last piece that we're going to do is back with my flute player friend, Deshaun Gordon King. And we're going to do what's called the Wish Sonata, which was composed by Valerie Coleman. And this was just a very important piece during this time. I interpreted it as, wishing and hoping for, things to get better. So just in spite of everything that's going on and all of the craziness, but also some good that's coming out of this with the election. And I just thought this would be a really cool way to end the concert. So I hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys again so much. If you enjoyed it, send me a message on Facebook, on Instagram, anything. I really appreciate it. Any questions, any advice, any way I can help you. Thank you guys again, and hopefully I'll see you soon.